I'm 90 years old, and I'm tired. Tired of carrying this story around like it belongs to only me. My husband had another family, a whole other woman, another child. And he kept that life going for 30 years. And the truth is, I knew about it. Not the whole time, but long enough that the weight of it settled into my bones. Long enough that silence started to feel like part of my personality. My name is Ruth Ann Jefferson, and I am 90 years old. I've lived long enough to see children grow up, husbands grow old, friends pass away, and truths finally come out that people thought would stay buried forever. And at 90, you realize something. You don't have time left for secrets. Secrets belong to young people who think they have forever to fix things. I don't. So I'm going to tell you what really happened. My husband's name was Harold Jefferson. Tall man, quiet voice, hands that always smelled like motor oil because he worked as a mechanic his whole life. If you asked anybody in our neighborhood what kind of man Harold was, they would say the same thing. Now that is a dependable man. And they meant it. He paid the bills, fixed the neighbors' cars without charging them, sat in the same pew every Sunday at New Hope Baptist Church, helped carry groceries for the older ladies on our block. To the outside world, Harold Jefferson was the kind of man people trusted. But you can live a long time and learn something painful about people. A man can be loved by everybody else and still break the heart of the woman waiting for him at home. Harold and I got married in 1956. I was 22 years old, wearing a dress my aunt had sewn because we couldn't afford a store one. Harold was 26 and so handsome I remember thinking, Lord, how did I get this lucky? We moved into a small brick house outside Cleveland, 2 bedrooms, thin walls, a heater that rattled so loud in winter you had to turn the television up just to hear it. But when you're young, you believe love fills every crack in the house. You think love makes everything work. I'm telling you now, love is powerful, but it is not enough to carry a whole life by itself. Our first child, Angela, was born in 1958, then Marcus in 1961. 2 babies, tight money, and long days. Harold worked late sometimes, said the garage needed him, said cars kept coming in faster than they could fix them. And I believed him, because believing your husband is easier than imagining he could be lying to you. The first time something felt different was in 1968. It wasn't dramatic, no shouting, no lipstick on a collar, just a quiet change in the air. Harold started coming home later, not every night, just often enough that the rhythm of the house felt wrong. You know how a woman notices when something in her kitchen isn't where she left it. That's how it felt. Something small, but wrong. One evening I asked him, just once, "Baby, you working late again?" And he smiled the way men do when they want a conversation to end. "Shop's busy, Ruth." And I nodded, because back then a wife was supposed to trust her husband, especially a black wife raising children in a world that was already trying to make life hard enough. So I told myself everything was fine. But a woman knows. People call it intuition. I call it paying attention. The truth came to me in 1971. I was folding laundry in the kitchen one Saturday morning. Harold had left his work jacket over the chair. Now listen, I had been married 15 years, and I had never gone through that man's pockets. Not once. But something in my chest said, "Look." So I did. And inside the pocket I found a photograph. A little girl, curly hair tied with a ribbon, standing in front of a yellow house I had never seen before. On the back it said, "Lisa, age 4," in Harold's handwriting. I remember sitting down very slowly at the kitchen table. Angela was outside jumping rope. Marcus was watching cartoons. And I thought, well, Ruth, your life just changed. When Harold came home that evening, I was sitting exactly where he left me, the photograph on the table between us. He didn't deny it, didn't even try. He just sat down across from me and said quietly, "Her name is Carol." Carol. That was the other woman. He met her at a diner near the garage, started talking, started seeing each other, started loving each other. And the little girl in that photograph was his daughter, 4 years old. My husband had another child across town, and I had never known. Now, people always ask the same question. Why didn't you leave at 90 years old? I can answer that honestly, because life is not always as simple as courage. In 1971, I was 37 years old with 2 children, no degree, no savings account in my name, and a world that didn't make it easy for women to start over. So I made a decision, not a proud one, just a real one. I stayed. But I told Harold something that night I never took back. "You can see that child," I said. "A child didn't ask to be born into this mess. But if you ever lie to me again, I will leave with nothing but the clothes on my back." He promised. Men promise many things when they're afraid of losing their comfort. For the next 30 years, Harold lived 2 lives, one with me and one with Carol. 2 homes, 2 birthdays, 2 Christmas mornings. He tried to keep the world separate, but secrets always find a way through the walls. There were nights he would come home late, and I would look at his face and wonder, where were you just now? Holding her hand? Reading that little girl a bedtime story? And every time those thoughts came, I pushed them down. Because when you have children watching you, you learn to swallow things that would break you otherwise. My children didn't learn the truth until they were grown. Angela was 36 when I told her. Marcus, 33. Angela cried. Marcus sat quiet for nearly an hour. Then he said something I will never forget. "Mama, you carried that alone all those years?" And I said the only honest thing I could. "Yes, baby, because I didn't want you carrying it too." Harold died in 2003, heart failure. At his funeral, there were more people than I expected. Neighbors, men from the garage, friends from church, shaking hands and telling stories about good old Harold. And standing near the back was a woman with gray in her hair and a daughter who looked exactly like him, Carol and Lisa. Our eyes met, and something strange happened. I didn't feel anger. After 30 years, anger burns itself out. What I felt instead was understanding, because that woman had spent 30 years sharing the same man with me, and neither of us had gotten the whole truth. Now I'm 90 years old. My children visit. My grandchildren run through this house louder than Harold ever did. And sometimes I sit in this chair and think about the young woman I used to be, the bride who believed love meant safety. If I could tell her one thing, it would be this: love is not enough. Respect matters more. Truth matters more. And silence costs more than people understand. I stayed quiet for 30 years. Maybe it protected my children. Maybe it didn't. But when you reach 90 years old like me, the one thing you wish you had protected more than anything else is your peace.